Public speaking is one of the most common fears. In fact, nearly 75% of people experience anxiety about speaking in front of others. But here's the shocking part: most public speaking tips fail to help. Studies show that over 70% of people forget what they hear within just a few days. So, if you're following the usual advice and still struggling, you're not alone. Imagine standing in front of an audience, your heart racing, and all you can think about is how to get through your speech. What if I told you there's a better way? A way that doesn't rely on stale tips and tricks that often fall flat? In this video, we will uncover the real secrets to becoming a great speaker. You'll learn how to master your pacing in a way that captures attention, why body language matters more than your words, and how to use storytelling to create lasting connections. Plus, we'll reveal why being authentic is your biggest asset. Get ready to dive deep into effective strategies that actually work. Say goodbye to the common pitfalls of public speaking, and hello to a new level of confidence and impact. Let's transform the way you think about speaking. Chapter 1: The Myth of Perfect Pacing. Why slow and steady can sink your speech. You've probably heard the advice: speak slowly and clearly. Sounds simple, right? But this tip can often backfire. Why? Because sticking to a slow, predictable pace can make your speech sound robotic. Your audience might tune out without realizing it. What's the alternative? Vary your pacing. Studies show that speakers who change their speed, slowing down during key moments and speeding up during exciting parts, are 35% more engaging. It keeps listeners on their toes, wondering what's coming next. Remember, it's not about sticking to a strict formula. It's about reading the room. If your audience is leaning in, pick up the pace to match their energy. If they look confused, slow down and emphasize the key points. Tony Robbins, a well-known speaker, uses rapid-fire speech followed by sudden pauses. Those pauses? That's when the magic happens. People get time to process and stay hooked. Instead of rehearsing a perfect pace, practice being flexible. Speak fast when you're excited, slow when you want to drive a point home, and pause to let ideas sink in. Authenticity beats perfection every time. Chapter 2: The Charisma Hack. Why it's not about what you say but how you move. Words matter, but how you move matters even more. According to research, body language accounts for 55% of communication, while words make up just 7%. That means you could have the most well-prepared speech, but if your body language doesn't align, your message won't land. Think about Barack Obama. When he speaks, his movements are slow, deliberate, and powerful. He doesn't rush his gestures. He uses his hands to emphasize, but never overdoes it. This gives his words more weight and makes him look in control. If you're standing stiff behind a podium, it's time to break free. Use the stage. Walk with purpose. Studies have shown that moving around naturally can increase audience retention by 29%. But, be careful not to pace aimlessly. Every step should have a reason, to emphasize a point, engage a different part of the audience, or simply break the tension. Gestures matter too. Keep them open and natural. Avoid crossing your arms or putting your hands in your pockets. Open palms signal honesty and confidence. Your body should reinforce what you're saying, not distract from it. The key to charisma isn't in crafting the perfect sentence. It's in how you deliver it, with presence and movement that feels real and unrehearsed. Chapter 3: Authenticity versus Perfection. Embracing imperfections to build trust. Here's the truth: trying to be perfect on stage is a recipe for failure. Why? Because nobody relates to perfect people. In fact, studies show that audiences are 31% more likely to trust speakers who show vulnerability and authenticity. When you stumble over a word or forget a line, don't panic. Own it. Brené Brown, in her book Daring Greatly, talks about how embracing vulnerability makes you more relatable. She says, vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. If you try to hide your imperfections, you miss out on connecting with your audience in a deeper way. People don't expect you to be flawless. They want you to be real. When Steve Jobs gave his famous Stanford commencement speech, he made it clear he didn't have all the answers. That's what made his message so powerful. His honesty about failure resonated. So, the next time you flub a line or feel nervous, acknowledge it. Say something like, "I guess my nerves got the best of me for a second." The audience will laugh, and it makes you more human. Imperfections make you relatable, and relatability builds trust. And trust is everything in public speaking. Without it, your message won't stick. Let go of the idea that you need to be perfect, and focus on being you. Authenticity is what people remember. If you're enjoying these insights, don't forget to subscribe. We've got more powerful strategies coming up that will help you become an amazing speaker. Chapter 4, Storytelling 2.0. How to create emotional roller coasters in under 60 seconds. Everyone tells you to tell stories, but not all stories stick. The key is creating an emotional roller coaster, and you can do it in just 60 seconds. Human brains are wired for stories. In fact, when you tell a story, the audience's brain activity syncs up with yours. But here's the catch: if your story doesn't have emotional ups and downs, people lose interest fast. Research shows that the best storytellers use micro-storytelling. These are mini stories woven into your talk that create small peaks of tension and resolution. For example, share a problem, build it up briefly, then solve it. The quick shift in emotion keeps listeners engaged. It's like giving them tiny doses of dopamine, which hooks their attention. Nancy Duarte, author of Resonate, says that great speakers use the tension of what is versus what could be. This back and forth creates contrast and keeps people invested. Think about Steve Jobs' iPhone launch in 2007. He constantly shifted between what was wrong with current phones and the exciting new features of the iPhone, making the audience feel the pain of the problem, then giving them relief with the solution. You don't need a long, drawn-out story to make an impact. Keep it short and emotional. Just a few sentences with a beginning, middle, and end can leave a lasting impression. Emotion drives memory, and people remember how you made them feel, not just what you said. Chapter 5, Visuals are overrated. The science of auditory imagery. We've all been there, staring at a dull PowerPoint, half listening to the speaker. Overused visuals can actually hurt your speech more than help. But here's something you may not know: you can trigger visual experiences in people's minds without slides at all. Auditory imagery is a powerful tool. When people hear vivid descriptions, their brains activate as if they're seeing the image. This means that well-crafted language can make your message more memorable than any graphic. In fact, a study from Princeton University showed that the brain's visual cortex lights up when hearing words that describe images, even without a visual aid. For example, instead of showing a picture of a beach, say, imagine standing barefoot on the warm sand as the sound of waves gently fills your ears. This paints a picture in the audience's mind, but it's stronger because they're creating the image themselves. People are more likely to remember what they create in their own heads. Think about Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous, "I Have a Dream" speech. There were no visuals, but his words created vivid mental pictures that remain iconic to this day. When you can make your audience see something without showing them, it sticks deeper. So, next time you're tempted to overstuff your presentation with slides, stop. Try using descriptive language to paint a picture. It's more memorable and impactful than the most polished graphic. If you found these tips valuable, don't forget to subscribe. By joining our community, you'll gain access to even more insights that will help you elevate your speaking game and connect deeply with your audience.